Live, you mean live?
It's live now.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right. Cheers.
G'day everybody, Robett Hollis here, and it's begun. I'm here with my man Brett Maber. How are you, mate? Brett?
Good, mate. Good. Where do I look? At you or him?
Him. It's
Or the
they
thing.
or people, or them.
Mate, I just turned 40. I'm not good at this tech stuff.
Alright, so the alcohol was begun. Happy with that.
Yeah.
And we need to give a shout out to the wine. What do we got?
Love Block. Central Otago Pinot Noir. Can't go wrong with that.
Have you had
That's pretty good. No.
What do you
Yes.
reckon? Oh shit.
It's good. It's good.
Shit, that's actually pretty good. So how are we, Brett?
Good.
When was the last time you were in this room?
I was in this room 1 year ago. 1 year ago.
What was the state of when we were... Tell us about the last time we were in this room.
Oh, we were enjoying a Chiefs win. I don't even know who they played, but it was a good Chiefs win.
No, Mike Hewitt hit the goal right at the end from halfway, right? Remember? So, the context of it
Yes, I totally remember.
was,
It was awesome.
We went for, the Chiefs played the Highlanders.
Yeah.
Do you not remember?
No.
Were you that wasted?
No, I don't watch a lot of rugby, so.
No, that actually happened. Okay, so, John Baker's in the mix. Up, John. Here with Brett Maber from Power Farming. What does Power Farming, Brett?
So Power Farming, so we're an independent import and distributor farm machinery. So we have about 7 or 8 major franchises we source from sort of all around Europe and Asia, and then we also run a retail distribution network within New Zealand to distribute those products.
Basically, sell a shit ton of agri gear.
We do. As much as we can. Yeah. No. So we've been in this space for about 40 years. So the business has grown quite a lot. We expanded into Australia 15 years ago.
40
years. So
family
obviously,
business, yep.
Yeah, I haven't been in it for the whole 40 years. But
You started pretty young if you did.
Oh, look, I think with any family business, you're reasonably immersed into what the family does, you know. So it's sort of in our DNA, so to speak. But look, it's farming's a pretty good industry to be in. But I think, like with any business is business, you know. So you've got to be doing the fundamentals right. Trying to stay as focused as you can without getting too sort of carried away with a whole lot of different peripheral things. I think like the best businesses are fairly laser focused on one or two things, you know. So we try and rein it in as much as we can. And
it's obviously gone pretty well. A bunch of stuff all over the show.
Yeah.
Joe Maber and Angela Hollis have joined.
Oh, hi girls. How's it going?
Girls. Sorry, we're not there. We're here. Cheers.
Yeah, busy.
Working. We're about to get abused. No, the last time we were here was Innis 48. I was one of the head judges last year. A bunch of people, and I brought Brett and Budgie was on, Carl Budge, the tournament director for the ASB Classic, and basically after a few beers after the rugby, came through and helped with a bit of mentorship for a whole bunch of different businesses and stuff that were here, and it actually went pretty good.
Yeah, look, I mean,
it's
really interesting. Yeah, it basically came down because Robett invited us down and told us there was a whole lot of beer and stuff here, but there wasn't. But what there was here was a whole lot of really good young people, just absolutely with heaps of cool ideas.
And it was this night too. It was the Saturday night.
Yeah, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Came down, probably gave some questionable advice to some of the teams,
and by questionable, I think he meant blunt, because some of the ideas were shit and no one could say it, and Brett just told them it was horrible.
Well, yeah. who kicked that goal again? But I mean, hey, look, really good idea. I think like having to come up with a whole business plan concept and pitch within a 48-hour time limit sort of really teaches you that you have to pull some triggers and start some things rolling, whether or not it's perfect or not, which is sometimes pretty hard to do. You want to sort of get all your ducks in a row. Where I think in this type of a situation, you have to just get the ball rolling, whether it's right or wrong. You can learn on the way and the way you go through. But I found it really cool to be able to sit down with some young people that were really enthusiastic and knowledgeable, just getting into it and being able to, I guess, from a more of a holistic viewpoint, just to give them a little bit of direction where they're going. Sometimes when you're really going for something and you're immersed in it, you need to probably put your head up out of the trenches for a little while and see if it is a good idea or not.
One of the things I find interesting is the amount of momentum that a room full of people can have in 48 hours, compared to then take away the element of competition, and then the average person will go back to business, and then what they'll do in a 5-day period. Isn't it funny, with one layer of competition on front, all of a sudden the output compared to the same amount of time is just drastically different, right?
Yeah, well, I think there's probably, I mean, it's an interesting point you raised, but I think the reality is that you don't have to run a business in 48 hours, although you want to be able to keep things moving very, very quickly and that sort of stuff. There's, like, in this competition, to turn up after 48 hours and have half a good idea, even if it's the best idea in the room, if it's not complete, you lose, right?
Well, one of the ones last year we were talking about is, at the moment, why a bunch of people aren't behind us, is there's the finance workshop that John Wilkinson from ASB's put on behind us. So throughout the day there was the market validation workshop at 8 o'clock, then they had the business model workshop, and then the finances. And where a lot of them fell down in the event last year was not being able to, like, clearly articulate how it was going to get monetized and commercialized in the real-time environment, where it was going to sit within the different ecosystems, and what actual product they'd have to provide a solution to the problem that people actually had. And so it was like, great idea, but then just no, like, tangible dollars from the other side. Obviously, from in your experience, like, how much of a balance has that been off with, like, where you wanting to push the business with the commercial realities of the marketplace that you're playing in?
Well, I mean, I guess we're very market driven. Like, there's certain factors that come into play. Like, if, the dairy industry 3 years ago, how it sort of, well, didn't collapse, but it was obviously hit a very, very low point. So for our industry, or our business based in New Zealand, it was pretty tough. So in terms of what we're trying to achieve, there's a certain amount of I guess capital coming into the business. Therefore, you need to balance everything, right? So X plus Y equals Z, and Z needs to be a positive in a perfect world,
We're getting trolled. Martin Collenbrander, drink up. Martin Collenbrander.
Hi, Marty.
Less chat, more drink. Angie, cool guys. This is Mackie. Oh, it's up, Mac Attack. Hopefully you're having a good day. We're working. Cheers.
Grape juice.
Have you caught up with anyone today? Like anything that you've sort of seen, or
just
a couple of chats that you've
just wanted in here, but pretty keen to go and just see, especially at this stage. I was sort of came in at a similar sort of stage last time, and there was a bunch of ideas that were pretty raw, or even teams that hadn't even come up with an idea, and it was pretty neat. That's why I came back last year at the final. Just I wanted to see some of those ideas, and I was quite amazed by some of the teams that had actually forged through and actually come up with a finished product as such. It was quite cool, and there was some neat ideas last year, and some just a lot of energy in the room. Like a lot of guys or guys and girls just wanting to really just get stuck in and do the hard yards, which was pretty good to see.
Is it, obviously you sit in a pretty big businesses that's a lot bigger scale than sort of this. Do you find, same way for myself, like being surrounded by the energy of a lot of other people that are wanting to get momentum and stuff, that it's kind of a key driver to always have that entrepreneurial mindset, regardless what size of what stage of business you're in?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it is. It's you feed off other people's energy, don't you? So
Carl Budge has joined.
Has he?
So we've got Budgie.
Nice.
Cheers, team. Any questions
Budgie.
for Carl Budge? He was actually joined us here last year. He had some pretty average chat. He wasn't in too much value. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Do you want to join the gang? We've got wine. We've got Facebook Live. You can get live validation.
No,
you've got to do that.
We've got to do this.
Okay, so right next to us as well, we've got another, it's a Biz brand cam, and so 4 times throughout the weekend, everyone's got to go up and do little blogs and stuff up there, which is very cool. Now tell me about tonight. What are we doing tonight?
So we thought we'd go Madam Woo, 6 o'clock, bit of Woo Brew, some Poor Porkers, and then we're going to hit the Chiefs game, Sunwolves, hopefully a good win, but never take anything for granted, but so going to win. And then maybe a bit more mentoring afterwards.
So, Budgie was just asking about the great ideas that GZ had last year.
Solid ideas.
Yeah.
Thanks, Carl.
Marty says get poleaxe. Yeah, that's not really adding much value to the chat here.
Yeah, I expect that from a tennis coach.
So at the moment, the theme of this one, actually, this is what I'll actually get into. The theme for this one last year, the theme for this one was future trends.
Okay.
So within agriculture, so basically they've got to create interesting business models surrounding these areas, or one of these areas, but around artificial intelligence, voice recognition, VR, AR, robots, personalised healthcare, autonomous vehicles, synthetic food, cross-border startups, travel tech, IoT, millennials, future of learning, and messaging. It's a lot of stuff. Within the agribusiness, globally, what's some of the future trends that you're seeing pop up in the agri landscape that's changing? Because just before people were talking about drones and all sorts of stuff, what's your take on where...
Look, I mean, agriculture is no different to any other industry. You know, like technology is coming in thick and fast. I suppose when I look at it from our point of view as the agricultural machinery industry, a lot of it's still mechanised. You know, like you've got to get out there in a paddock and drive a tractor. I think, you know, there's talk about, you know, autonomous vehicles and that sort of stuff.
Marty said pour a drink.
Pour a drink, yeah, fair enough. But look, I think it's going to be hard to take away that human element. I know there's, wow, look at that.
There you go, Marty.
Put me off now. I think there's technology in terms of precision, in terms of protecting the environment, that sort of stuff, or being able to do things more efficiently, like time efficiency and that sort of stuff. In terms of some of the other things you mentioned before, I mean, it's probably no different than any other industry. Like things are coming, more and more things are coming online, like, you know, things like being able to check your milk temperature or how many litres are in the vat or what's been done through your cell phone, all those sorts of technologies are all sort of coming in.
How many different touch points within the agribusiness? Do you think every touch point has the ability... Hey, yeah, let's start.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
No. This could take me a while.
Yeah. Is every touch point, if that can create data, how that pulls through? So is there, from end to end within the agri space, there's a whole bunch of different touch points. Do you see at every opportunity being able to have an Internet of Things capability to be able to pull that in real time, just create more efficiency from end to end?
Yeah.
But are you seeing it more happen at the kind of distribution side or more at the creation side? Or where's the energy currently? It's
probably a bit of a collaboration between us being, I suppose, not manufacturers, as distributors and retailers within New Zealand. We're I guess at the coalface, so we're getting a lot of feedback from end users and customers and that sort of stuff, and farmers using our gear. And I suppose it's that feedback that we're getting that we pass on to, say, manufacturers, for instance, like things like just serviceability of tractors and that sort of stuff, where they're starting to build GPS modules that are within the vehicles in terms of being connected up to...
Is GPS standard now in every...
No, depending on what application you want to do. But I mean, in terms of GPS, there's probably two things. There's precision planting and precision farming, so you know physically where you are, and if you've got a 9-metre power harrow or something or other, you need to know where that is, so that then you can GPS line it up like by 1 inch on the side, so you're not covering so much ground.
They did the same thing on ski fields a while ago, where they were they hadn't actually tracked out where groomers were doing the nightly.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, and so because what they were finding is the inefficiency was just like they
big overlaps. Yeah, so you cut your overlaps from there to there. Yeah.
So, and also the same thing, they were using that within depth as well, real-time depth to know snowpacks throughout the whole thing to create more efficiency.
Absolutely the same thing. And I guess the other side of that is to basically have information coming back from the vehicle. It's very prevalent in the automotive industry now, where your car's driving around. The dealership knows how many Ks you've done, what's wearing out, that sort of stuff. Like within parts that tells you that it's half worn out, that sort of stuff. So they can then... it can go all the way through from ordering those parts, making sure that they're on the shelf the day you come in, rather than having to have a whole lot of parts on the shelf, that sort of stuff. Stay in contact with you about getting better, getting your servicing done. So it's just that customer service. And
is there any? I don't actually know, especially what kind of interested to ask within the agri space. Is there within, say, tech and apps and software and online? There's a whole bunch of AI layering that's starting to create a whole bunch of efficiencies and giving suggested recommendations of potentially what you can do to create more efficiency with these digital businesses. Is there any layers of AI that's already rolling through in the agri space at all, at any part of it, like maybe logistics or not? Like
I would have thought so. I mean, probably less to do with the farm machinery side of things, but I know certainly with the like the dairy side of things, like milk production and that sort of stuff, and storage of the product and all that sort of stuff. Certainly,
Wesley Allen Boyd would like to say, does he sell Velcro gloves?
No, yeah, no. We don't sell those. We just have them.
Sweet, there you go. So if you're just tuning in, I'm here at the NS 48. Don't actually know what really this is. I'm hanging out for a couple of days helping out with thing. Brett was here last year helping out, and it's 48 hours we've got 15 teams this year. The theme is future trends, and they've got 48 hours to go from idea to execution. The top 6 will then get the chance to pitch to the head judges tomorrow, and $12,000 worth of good stuff. But it's actually the largest business startup competition in New Zealand. So why it's all kind of half empty behind us is in the thing next door. John Wilkinson from ASB is doing a big money finance workshop to make sure everyone's on point. So predictions tonight, Chiefs?
Yeah, I think we'll win. I think we might have a slow start, big finish. Slow start, big finish. Don't know.
What with the drinking?
The rugby. The
rugby.
Both, maybe, I don't know. Both. Depends.
You know stuff you want to talk about?
No, look, I mean, it's a really, really cool event. I mean, I got dragged along here probably not knowing what it was last year, to be fair. It's one of these crazy things Robett does. Sticks it on the internet. But I mean, I was really, it was a neat environment to be in, as I say, with a lot of young, pretty entrepreneurial minded people, and it was pretty cool to probably see them try and punch through and create and develop an idea and a pitch within a 48-hour process. And it was just quite interesting to see that where they got stuck, where they didn't get stuck, where they were very, very strong, which was probably the ideas and all that sort of stuff and the motivation, but as you say, perhaps a little bit weak on the finance side of things and how it's actually going to work, like in a real world situation.
Budgie says drinking will be consistent throughout. If anyone has a question for Brett Maber, feel free to ask through. Feel free to chuck any troll questions in. Feel free for some trolling. I feel like you're also a little bit behind the 8 ball here. Brett?
No, I don't. I think it's a setup.
Say, it is a setup. Oh, the guys came back. See if it was any good. Was it good? Learn some shit? Oh, yes. Sorry, John, you got a troll.
Yeah. What was that?
Is it?
Probably. I actually.
Do you think he doesn't know his finances?
Yeah. Maybe is he watching this thing live? Maybe he was talking about us.
Yeah, he was like, you guys are up to piss all. Budge says, was there anyone who stood out to Mabes last year? Someone he thought was going places?
What was there was a couple of really cool ideas. I thought actually
Martin's giving me shit. Robett, your glass is empty. Fair call.
But the girls that were going to set up the
wedding.
Yeah, the Chinese wedding or the tourism
sick, right?
wedding thing. I thought that was like in terms of the market size and how they kind of knew that market very, very well and put it forward. It was the numbers looked awesome.
The idea
probably them.
The idea was essentially a wedding business which would be based in New Zealand. The niche of it would be targeted to engage Chinese couples who want to do a travel to New Zealand package, including the hotel and everything. It was actually like very simple, but they'd already found the market for it. I think they'd even worked out the amount of, I think it was on, is it Weibo, whatever the Facebook is over in China. They'd worked out the actual potential market pool they could get to, and I even think they'd worked down to what the pricing was to be able to get in front of them, which was quite interesting.
Yeah. And the other thing was as well is that they did put a teaser out there on that social network within China, and that just blew up. That was only a 48-hour idea, so I thought that was something that could have gone very, very well.
Yeah. What is in business, what's the biggest consistent mistake that you see other people making? Even though they know it, but it still keeps happening.
Look, I mean, like I said right at the very, very start, probably not so much what the mistake. It's probably if you look at very, very successful businesses, they're very good at a quite a narrow range of what they do. You know what I mean? They're very, very focused on what they do, and I think, and we probably. I guess have struggled with this in the past, where we want to be everything to everyone, and you want to bring in one of those because that guy could buy it or what have you. There's, Yeah, absolutely. You know, so probably
But the difference with that, if you do it on the wholesale side, you've got to hold that cost of stock,
Absolutely.
which is a real cost, right? It's not like digital marketers will be like, I can do this. It costs them nothing. They just say they can do it. You've literally got physical asset taking up space in location, in storage, and time.
I think the other thing is being probably very to have an idea and just drive it without, I guess, engaging your customers. Like business is difficult and it's complicated, but you can make it very, very simple. Your customers essentially tell you the answers to your problems every day. You've just got to listen.
Right? If they
Yeah,
ask,
but I mean, yeah, they're constantly, whether they're physically, telling you or not, they're telling you the answers to your problems, right? So if they're complaining about something, fix it, or just keep listening to your customers. They'll soon tell you what they want, or listen to the market, like where are other people doing well, where are other people doing poorly, and change your business accordingly. It's quite easy just to get stuck into the trenches and just be peddling the hell out of it, working really hard, but probably not really having that direction. And that's why I think like having good external advice at times is pretty good, because you do get immersed in the business and very involved with what you're trying to achieve, rather than probably what the public or the customers want.
Within the agri space, most of the innovation, New Zealand is known for being quite an innovative company, but the reality of it is, does New Zealand lead with innovation in agri, or do we follow, like say with like music or fashion or whatever else, most of it will be American first, filter through Australia, then us. Now obviously it's been wider faster. Is there anything, like with agri, which way does it kind of lead? Does it even come from America? Is it like Euro? Like where does it kind of, where's the momentum?
I think probably two things. Well, with the agricultural machinery, like obviously tractors are probably a cornerstone of that. Like there is no tractors manufactured in New Zealand, so therefore we're led by mainly Europe for that sort of thing. In terms of machinery, because what we do in New Zealand, and it's no different with any other country around the place, we do things probably slightly differently, or our conditions are slightly different and that sort of stuff. So there is a lot of innovation where we'll take, we'll either start from scratch and come up with an idea that just best suits our purpose, or we'll adapt something that has been sort of invented in Europe and that sort of stuff. But I guess the hard thing with that is that for manufacture and that sort of stuff, it's pretty hard to compete with small volumes in a small market like New Zealand,
Yeah.
So. But I think if you look across the board at the dairy industry and horticulture, viticulture, that sort of stuff, I think New Zealand's always been very much at the forefront of technology with that sort of stuff. And I think across the board with a lot of stuff, we're quite a new country and pretty open to new ideas and innovations. You know what I mean? So I think that probably flows across the whole agri sector. Agri space, yeah.
Very cool. Any other shit? We're done.
Thank you.
Pretty good. Good yarns.
I think
Agri
so.
Tech. Now they've finished. If you're watching behind us, they've all finished out of the finance workshop. One of the guys wasn't too stoked. I don't know whether he was stoked that we were shit, or maybe he was shit, or maybe he didn't learn what he wanted to, or maybe he's freaked out from his finances. We were actually talking before, there was a 14-year-old young buck kid who was just rolling up, and I thought he was getting babysat. He's actually in the competition. Yeah. He's over there, he's dominating Rowan. We should actually, I wonder if he's working. Should we'll call him over? Rowan! That little Grom, Sam?
No. Yes.
He's like 10. Look at him, he's just hustling away. If you're watching behind him, he's absolutely on fire.
The next Steve Jobs.
He's just like literally like grinding again at it. Alright, we're going to head on out of here. Cheers for watching. Might tune back in maybe if we come back after a couple more bevies after the Chiefs game. That should be good.
Sounds cool.
I'm actually really excited for it. Madam Wu, Chiefs, come back here. Thanks for your time, buddy. Appreciate it.
All good.
Awesome. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Skull up, Brett.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that.